Welcome everyone. I hope everyone can hear me all right. And it is the big episode 20. And I honestly have never been excited for anything on the show. It's pulling everything we love together. We're talking technology, mayhem, aquaponics,
water, buckets,
ecology, electricity,
glass,
fire,
and pool tables,
soldering irons.
Those are later. Soldering irons.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing some soldering work tonight, I think, I hope. Right, Chris?
Absolutely.
We have an amazing special guest, and this is gonna be the first of a number of shows, but tonight's show, episode 20, is about monitoring and automating ecosystems. And in particular tonight, what we're gonna do is, I've had this fish tank, which I'm gonna show you in a second. It's a 55-gallon aquaponic system. Super stable, been running for 2 years with tropical fish, plants, pothos, hydroponics above, and just crystal clear, very, very stable. And right here, well, I don't know if we can pull it up. Do you have the video of earlier today? I can't see the monitor, but if you want to show that, or not show that, I'm going to keep talking. We'll show that later. But in this bucket, me and my son went out today and scooped tons of water from a vernal pond. If you don't know what a vernal pond is, it's a pond that will only exist in the spring and then dry up throughout the summer. And guys, you can stop me if you want to chime in. But so anyways, it dries up, and so it's a really special place because it's just filled with life in the spring because animals go there to reproduce, and then because there's no fish to eat. I didn't see any tadpoles, but I have tons of leaf litter and gunk, and I'm sure, I mean, JT, what are we gonna find in here?
You're gonna find a lot of cool bugs.
Sick.
So like Daphnia, moina, fairy shrimp, depending on what's in the area,
we are.
Dragonflies, damselflies, maybe bloodworms.
Sick.
Mosquito larvae.
Dragonflies?
Dragonfly
And the
larvae.
coolest part is we should take the top off that maybe because then things can just hatch out mosquitoes in here.
Yeah.
Sick.
You toss your pea puffers in there, they'll take care of it.
Yes, we'll put some pea puff. Well, so first thing we're gonna do is I'm curious to know, there's certain things that are just thriving in there, like the moss. There might be something in here that just destroys it, like throws the ecosystem sideways.
Yeah, you got like a weird balance in the bucket or something.
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, we're introducing an unknown into an enclosed environment.
Yep.
So yeah, there's no way to really predict what's going to happen.
Exactly, and so Chris is going to help us basically set up monitoring. So we're gonna discuss first tonight, like what we're gonna monitor, like and how we're gonna monitor it, and then we're gonna build it, or some of it, as much as we can within a reasonable time frame by like 3 a.m., And then, last but not least, at the end, we're gonna dump this pond litter and whatnot in there and monitor over the course of a week or so and see what changes.
And we'll be able to see like visually what changes in there, but we'll also
Have some real data.
Yeah, because it's going to be interesting to see how the whole ecology of that tank changes.
Yeah, and like, will the pH change? Will ammonia levels? I don't think we can have probes for that. Will oxygen levels change? We'll find out. So,
yeah.
I guess first steps, you guys. I thought the first thing we might want to do is dump this bucket out. So should we go over to the tank and dump it out? Or
Yeah, I want to see what's in there.
Show the pond video while you do that.
Sick.
Oh.
Deep. Definitely doing some tick checks tonight. Where are you, buddy? Uh-oh. That's why you're wearing Crocs. Yeah. Let's see. I don't see any tadpoles. Here you are.
Bro, we're not even close to you.
Yeah. Oh, you're wearing socks? Oh, that's cool. Sitting around there, it'll be in front of us the whole time. You want to put this
yeah,
on this
off to
guy
the
right
side.
here? Does that sound good?
Yeah, put a whiteboard.
Cool. How's this right here?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. That's how you leave an aquarium at all times. This is very stable, just with both ends hanging over the side. We're just going to be using it temporarily. Should I put it? No, it'll be fine. Hey, Andrew, any way you can pull the monitor up for us? on the screen over here? All right. The monitor's not on. Yeah. So we can make sure we're. All right. You want to see what's in here, boys?
Looks yummy.
It smells good. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't smell bad.
No, it does smell good.
It smells very earthy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I see some springtails.
Mm-hmm.
What are these?
Oh yeah. This thing is coming to life, ladies and gentlemen.
It's got some lichens floating in there.
Some nice sticks. You got a bunch of leaves on the bottom.
Cool.
I'm excited to see. Oh yeah, I see the bugs jumping.
All right. Let's see. Oh, Jeff, any comments or anything? Or
Just Sean Bray saying hello to us and that he appreciates us all and happy Mother's Day.
oh,
Hey,
thanks,
Sean.
bud.
They can't hear me, by the way, just so you know, the audience.
Oh, nice. How's our audio? Is it good? Yeah. Cool.
Oh, we also got the microscope set up so we can look at some stuff,
Oh, cool. Let me quickly help him with.
some microscopic life, see what's living in there. Maybe we can compare it later down the line after days, weeks. See what it does to the ecology.
Totally. We could look at some stuff today. I was saying like we can try to get the macro lens in front of that, I guess, is a way
Oh,
to use
yeah.
it. And but yeah, let's dump this out. I figured if we dump it out now, it'll give it time to settle out a little over the course of the show. All right,
Cool.
You want to hold the tank so it doesn't
Yeah.
accidentally. Try to be somewhat gentle, but sorry guys. Sudden stream.
I see some green stuff.
Oh, the good stuff's on the bottom. Oh, there's so much still in there. Okay. There you go. You know, it's nuts. Like, even looking inside this. Look at that.
I see some little tiny guys, little like rotifers or something swimming around.
So if we get to 100 views, Jeff Commander will drink a cup of this.
A whole cup?
100 viewers. Yep.
I think he'll.
Right? He said, he shook his head like this, which means yes.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think he would end up in the hospital.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
No,
Oh,
No
what's this
Jeff
little guy?
hospitalizations, please.
not tonight. It's only episode 20. We gotta make it at least to episode 30.
We should get some light over it so you can get a good view of these.
On it.
little-
So even in this, check this out. There's like not a ton of gunk, but I'm gonna put this in, just rinse this out in the res, and I'm curious to know, like, it's gonna introduce new stuff in there, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
All right, let me get you a light though.
Just so everyone knows, if you know me well, you know that I have a, I don't know what you'd call it. They're not microscopic, but they're really small bugs. I have an aquarium just for that, and pretty much every night I just sit there and stare at it for a good hour. It's got like Scuds, Moina, Daphnia, blackworms, shrimp, snails. Entertaining to watch. I'd love to be able to see it like with a macro lens. A live stream of that would be really cool. Yeah, there's so many like tiny little bugs that you can like hardly see.
Nice, just
Perfect.
perfect to fall in. Oh, I need an extension cord.
I mean, electricity won't hurt them, right?
Oh wait, what about one of these lights?
Oh yeah. They don't like sit flat.
Yeah, electricity won't hurt them unless they're grounded. That's what I've learned.
Jeff, if I pass your extension cord, will you plug that in?
So in vernal pools, there a lot of the life has evolved to. It needs the drying out period. So a lot of the things, like the bugs that you want to grow to feed in your aquarium, bloodworms and stuff like that, they have a period that they need to dry out, or else you can't get their eggs, you can't hatch new ones. And that's how the companies that make those or like sell the eggs, they just have tanks that they dry out occasionally, and it unfortunately the live ones in there die, but that's part of their life cycle and their breeding cycle. They fill up with eggs, and then when it dries out, the eggs are all in the dirt. Then the next season, when it starts to rain again, the moisture hydrates the eggs, and the life starts again. It's a really cool process. A lot of the bloodworms, like the flies, will lay the eggs in there, and that's the cycle there. Whoa, there's a little green guy over here. Oh, hey, that's me. Yeah, I'm excited to see what this does to like the chemistry of the water.
Is it choppy?
This little guy's eating all the leaves, it looks like, some of the algae, and there's like a biofilm floating around on top of the leaves and stuff. So there's bacteria, fungi, I think, eating the leaves, and then they eat the bacteria and fungi. Some of the stuff that they eat is actually yeasts. So the part of the life cycle of these guys, or part of the food chain, is yeast that eats the decaying leaves. And, think about maybe a brewery using their yeast to feed these guys might be cool.
That would be very cool. I think we can get our hands on some yeast.
You think?
I do, yeah. I can capture some, bring it over.
Do you think they like beer?
I was just going to say, what style do you think they like?
I think they really like a Pilsner.
I got lots of Pilsner yeast.
I feed mine nutritional yeast every once in a while, and they go nuts for it. They like breed out of control. Same with the vinegar eels. If you give them yeast, like within a day or two, they have a ton more in there. Going crazy, eating it all up.
Got a question, what's the pH in there?
Oh, that is a good question.
I'll repeat it because I can't hear me.
So someone asked what the pH in there is. We got
check it.
pH strips. So for the microscope, I set up some, what are they, stains that are going to stain the digestive system of the microorganisms in there when we look at it, and it changes from red to yellow when it becomes more acidic. So we'll be able to see their digestion in process as it's happening. What do we got?
This is the international sign for unmute.
Something.
Unmuted? It looks great. No, we see it. No, this is the mute, unmute, mute sign. So unmuted. So JT, take a guess at what the pH is.
Slightly acidic?
Give me a number.
Like 6.
Dude, I am surprised by this. It is 4.65.
Wow.
That's really acidic, right?
Yeah, that feels like it would be really hard for like things to survive in it.
Yeah. That's very, very acidic.
Whoa.
Hey, can we do a check on what the average what pH for a vernal pond typically is? I'm curious.
Check out this bug right here. This, I think, is a damselfly larvae right here.
Cool.
And they're carnivores, so they're good if you have like a pond or something in your yard. They'll eat the mosquito larvae and take care of killing the mosquitoes. But they're also he's hunting in there.
5 to 6.5.
5 to 5 point. Okay. So this is an acidic vernal pond apparently. Which is interesting because the area around it is deciduous. It surprises me.
It can vary based on soil type, surrounding vegetation. I know, I'm letting them know so they can be ready.
All right, so like, we should make some predictions.
So what's the pH of the aquarium?
Let's check. I have a monitor on, but I haven't calibrated it a bit, so, and I did calibrate this one. So let's take a peek. Now, this light has not been on this. I did just put this light on because I moved that light there, but for the sake of the experiment, we should probably put the lighting that's been on it.
Can you turn the light on the screen of your pH meter?
Oh, yeah. 6.9. So just slightly acidic. Now, that's a thing, right? Like what, especially like that's a big pH jump for everything. Oh, there's a shrimp in here. It's so funny, right? There's a couple shrimp. There's a cherry red shrimp back there. So I had discus fish in here for a year and a half, I'd say, and I did not see shrimp very often. They start coming out when the fish go away. Smart move. So yeah, you want to talk next with Chris, or we need a moment for that, or?
Yeah, so what kind of things are we going to be able to monitor as this goes?
Should we look at the wall of sensors?
Yeah.
I mean, we are, let me move some of this stuff. What's this? Can you put these in the fridge? Thanks, man.
Who are you?
I'm Chris.
Chris, what are you here to do?
Talk about what's on the table today.
All right.
So, looks like we have a bunch of different things here that can be used to measure, monitor, and automate within your garden. So let's take a look here. So probably not applicable today, but we have soil sensors. These are moisture sensors. They actually, the way they work is by measuring the difference between conductivity between one side and the other. And the more water it is, the higher it's going to be, the more conductive the soil that's connecting the back and the front of this plate together will be. And it will look at that. It's a linear relationship, so the lower the resistance, the higher the conductivity, the more moisture sensor is, and that can be tuned right in, can be used for automated irrigation type stuff.
Cool. So it'll know when you need to water versus when it's good, so it can either turn on some water, turn it off.
Absolutely. And bump your pumps. So those things can be wired up with these switches. So these are basically off-the-shelf smart switches that, as is, there's what?
There's comments. I think someone's got some questions for you.
All right, I hear we got some comments.
What do
Let's
you got,
pause for a
Commander?
question.
All right, Sean is wondering if you put a small mesh bag, or put small mesh bags of biochar, would that raise the pH? Repeat the question, Lucas.
If we put some mesh bags with biochar in it, will it raise the pH?
In the pond water.
For the pond water, I'm betting it probably would. Yeah, it'll probably absorb some of the acid into the biochar and leave the plain water. So I'm betting it would raise the pH. You're right. That's a guess. We could test that. We got some biochar. We can toss them in there, see what happens.
We got some sensors.
Sensors, yeah. Could
So
be
I'm
good.
not Sure, I believe Matt's got some live pH sensors in here. We'll be able to wire some of them up to be able to get some of those readings. So that's an automatic float sensor. This is for making sure your pumps don't overfill and maintaining the waters either in your reservoir
Yeah, let me grab those
on your
pH
base
monitors.
system. So the way that this works is it's basically like a light switch, and that flips the switch on and it floats, and when there's no water it'll flip down.
Very cool.
We have a couple other neat different types of those sensors depending on your use. So that's good if you're able to drill into the side of your tank and your tank is metal. These also work. So these guys are optical sensors that do the same thing, and these measure basically how much a light is reflected back.
Nice.
And then these are some interesting ones. These are great for aquariums. These you can just slap to the right side of the tank, and this does the same thing. So this also measures how much conductivity the tank has, and as the water level gets up to here, it'll change, and it detects that change and can shut it off.
Oh, so it won't overflow.
Sorry. Now try it again. Try it again.
All right, you're back.
Switch.
So,
Say all that again.
So,
No,
so
I
that
don't
one
want-
that you stick on the side, it also measures the conductivity, and as the water gets up to it, it'll either do whatever you program.
Do
it
whatever
to.
you'd like it to, exactly. And you'll notice that a lot with water-based sensors. Anything that's doing moisture is going to be based on conductivity, because that's the easiest way to
just
detect something, just like a toaster in the...
Yeah, toss the toaster in, it'll turn off do the kill switch that we have in our bathrooms, so you can't do that anymore, luckily.
Absolutely. The GFCI. So those are those types of switches, and these guys are really helpful when you're trying to automate your pumps. These can be wired in with these, and these can be connected via Wi-Fi or via Zigbee, any other wireless signals. And you can program these guys to speak to each other pretty quickly.
Cool.
What else do we got here? We have some fun sensors. We have this coupled with this is for measuring total dissolved solids, or how pure your water is, how much garbage is in it.
Another conductivity sensor.
Another conductivity sensor. You knew where I was going with that one.
Yeah.
So this on its own is just giving raw conductivity of the water. But if you couple that with a temperature probe, just like if you're making rock candy at home, as you raise the temperature, more and more sugar can go in the water, and when the temperature drops, that sugar falls out into solution. If you combine electrical conductivity and temperature, you get a very accurate reading of the total dissolved solids in the water.
Very cool.
You just have to pair those guys together.
So there's probably some back-end math that you got to do, but if you know the equation, you can figure it out.
And this is the future. We have Google, we have ChatGPT. The equation's out there as long as you know that you're looking for it.
So you just tell
Just say, I'm looking for this equation.
Tell the AI to make the equation for you. Very cool. When I was programming things like this a couple of years ago, I just had to find the equation on someone did it on Hackster.io or Make, and find their equation, plug it into my program, and code it up yourself. And usually you can get a pretty good code out of it.
The beauty of open source.
Yeah, open source is great. So we got those. What are these guys?
So these are indicator panel lights. These are helpful if, for whatever reason, you want to have a quick and easy way to know, for example, if your lights are on and off, if you have a photosensitive plant, if your pumps are on and off, so you have really easy indication where you are instead of where the pump is.
Yeah.
A lot of times when you're building these systems, if you stick the time into it, you'd like it to look clean and out of the way. And that means that you can't very easily see what's happening in front of your face.
Right.
And so this is a physical indicator. as opposed to the virtual and automated indicators, but I find them to be useful quite often to
Really
make sure you're
cool.
not digging too deep.
So you could just like basically look at a box and say, oh, the blue light's off. We gotta do something, turn on the lights. Or
It needs water, right? You can just
Yeah.
peek your head in if you have a grow room or if everything's growing on your back porch while you're cooking in the kitchen, you can look out the window, say, oh, plants are ready for water. It's
Yeah.
time this week.
Very cool.
What else do we have? So these are the brains of the operation. So this is a microcontroller. I'm using what's called the ESP32. These guys
Okay.
run for about $3 a piece right now.
Yeah.
They come with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in, and they have the ability to put on an extra antenna. And you can either purchase cables to connect these guys very cheaply or build your own. And you just can wire them straight up. You don't need enclosures. A lot of the work nowadays is solderless.
Yeah,
In
look at how many pins it has. So you get a lot of input, output that you can work with. So you could probably get a bunch of sensors on that, right?
A bunch of these. And once again, with solderless workflows, I seen Matt had some tooling over there. But these are called Wago clips, and these are incredible. If you don't want to break out the soldering iron, you want to play around with this stuff,
Oh, I use those for a solar panel.
they're incredible.
Yeah.
They, you strip the wire out, and let's see, do we have a stripper on hand around here? I have some garbage wire.
I got. Yeah, Matt said no strippers, but I won't tell.
Wire strippers, of course. So you strip the wire right out so we have enough free end, and then you can just clip them in. So this is very useful.
Those are
Any
great.
sensor you buy, you don't need to have a board, you don't need any special skills.
That's
You can
amazing.
just clip those guys right in.
And does this just wire them all together, or does it?
Someone said they need a stripper?
Not here.
Yeah, I got one.
So all of the,
Do you find it?
Yeah.
all of the latches in one piece will be wired together. So
Nice. Common
want it to-
ground or something.
exactly, this is perfect for power buses and ground buses.
This is great.
And you can get them in 5 packs for about $1 a piece. So we could look to those for wiring today. I'm not sure if we need these sensors, the limit sensors. One of the fun things that I've discovered recently, so these are camera sensors. These guys are relatively cheap at about $6 a piece. And this is the chip we just looked at, but it comes integrated with an antenna port. So you can plug in an external antenna if you have one, as well as a camera that seats down into the system. So
Very cool.
What the? I don't understand. Sorry, I guess we need to leave it plugged in. It's a sign from above that I just shouldn't be on this show. Should I put it back the way it was? Literally, apparently, if I unplug my, it's following me, unplug this guy, for some reason it makes your mics stop. My
Do a pan with a.
now. Did that fix it?
I got you guys though. You can go back.
Cool. So
So I just need to leave.
you got a fisheye lens that you can
Thank
clip
you.
right into
Whatever.
that board?
Yo, just drink.
correct. And these are nice. I use a few of these up on my parents' farm for birdhouse cameras as well. These are not just aquariums. You can sink these guys in there. It's very low power. I'm sure that you'd be able to pull off with a solar panel.
That's amazing. That's a really cool idea, just being able to see what kind of birds you have living in the houses.
Exactly, and this has enough power where you can do live stream. Additionally, you can do time-lapse photos, which are great if you do want to see sort of the growth of a nest or growth of what they're building. I'd love to see it with some beaver dams and just watch the progression of a beaver dam over a week and how it gets built.
I know a place.
Yeah?
Yeah, I worked on a project. We were doing the wildlife succession as a after a beaver dam was installed. So they had wildlife photos and data about the Tufts Grafton campus on the vet school. And then one year, a group of beavers put in a dam at this stream. And so they continued to just record the data to see what happened as the landscape changed or the ecosystem changed. And the dam is like a hub for life. Everything just sort of uses it as like a bridge to cross water, and there's a good source of water, source of food, the tadpoles, the duckweed, birds come. So the life in the area just sort of exploded because everything had a place to go and like a community to work with. So it was really cool to see like snapping turtles show up in this area that you wouldn't have noticed them before, and the ducks started landing and eating the bugs and the grass and the duckweed. The beavers just going crazy, building and swimming and all that. So it's really cool to see what changes over time in a beaver dam. And the beavers are pretty friendly, and they have house guests, or I guess tenants, that live with them over the winter. So inside of their den, things that can swim down and under will go in and live with them. So they'll have like muskrats and other small rodents that can get in other ways. So, and they just share their food with them. And there's a good video and movie, Beaver Believers, that talk about how they protect the ecosystems from wildfires, and area in California that was devastated by wildfires. The only area that survived was around this beaver dam. Like trees lived, and animals were going there for refuge. So they were able to like protect themselves from the fires, just because the beavers moved in. So really cool to see what lives in there and what it can do for an ecosystem.
It's exciting to hear that. I've heard the expression, take care of a system that it can take care of itself, it loses the ability to take care of itself.
Yeah.
That's just sort of, as a system that on its own can really take care of itself if you let it be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, kicking them out, a lot of people.
We got a latecomer who's wondering what the show is all about. If you want to do a quick recap.
Oh, so Matt and his son collected a bunch of stuff out of a water, natural water source. So they found a vernal pool, collected some muck out of there with some water, and we're adding it to an already established aquarium. There's no fish in there currently, but there's plants and shrimp. So we want to see what happens over time, how the system survives and what changes. So we're curious to see how the chemistry of the water changes and how the ecology in the tank changes, and how that affects the plants and what we can see happening over time. So these are all our sensors that we're going to use to monitor that. I think we're going to talk about the scientific method a little bit. We want to see, we're curious minds. So we've seen how the ecosystems work in the real world. So we want to sort of look at what's going to happen. So we have our question, how is this going to affect the water chemistry and the life in the two systems combining? And then, so our hypothesis, I guess, what is our hypothesis going to be? What hypothesis do other people out there that are watching have about what's going to change in this ecosystem? My thought is that the pH is probably going to become more neutral, but that's going to affect the life that's in there. So I think that we're going to see a little bit of a difference in life surviving in the tank. The plants might have to adjust to that, so I don't know what life is going to survive. But my hypothesis is it's going to be a change over time. And then what are we going to test? So we have some conductivity probes, some cameras that we can look at it over time, see how the life changes. I have a microscope over there, so we're going to look at that today. We're going to look at what microorganisms are in there. We'll get some good photos and see what we can document for invertebrates that we introduce versus what's in there already. And then we'll see how right we are or how wrong we are. If maybe it just stays, has a crazy shift in pH and we don't know what's going to happen. Or the life is all going to thrive. So we'll see what we come up with after we change it. So you got the camera, conductivity, water level. I think there's a filter hooked up to there, and it goes to a flood and drain sort of system. So we got air, water, plants, external and internal.
Jeff brought up, was it the turbulence? The clarity of the water. Turbidity. I believe we have a water clarity sensor, turbidity sensor. We could see if it fogs up and we have some algal growth, or what would that be if we see it cloud up? What would that cloud up because of?
So it could be minerals crashing out of
Just brought
solution
up,
because the pH changed.
was
It
it
could
the,
be bacterial bloom
the
or
clarity of the water.
maybe
Turbidity. I believe we have a water clarity sensor, turbidity
some sort of
sensor. We
algae
can
growing
see if
in
it
there,
fogs up and we
or
have
just
some
like
algal
a
growth.
lot
What
of
would that be
tiny
if we see it
microscopic
cloud up? What would that cloud up
protozoa
because of?
that so go it crazy could be in there. minerals So crashing it out could of be a solution variety because of the things. We'll have to look at it with a pH microscope, changed. check the conductivity bacterial probably, bloom, see
The clarity of the water.
what's changing versus
Turbidity,
what
yeah.
we can see with our naked eye.
Some sort of
No,
algae
if you set
growing
up
in
that
there.
up at home and you
Or
saw a
just
change
like
in
a
this sort
lot
of
of
cloudiness,
tiny
would that be a reason for alarm? Would that be something you'd
protozoa
want to watch in
that
and
goes
get a
in there.
notification or know about?
Yeah, definitely for an
variety of things.
aquarium.
We'll have to look at it with a microscope,
If you have a sudden change in turbidity, something has gone wrong with your filter. So either the bacteria is going out of control
No,
and
if you set
growing
up that
a
up
lot
at
of
home and you saw a
bacteria,
change in this
or the
sort of
pH has
cloudiness,
changed
would that
and
be a reason for
something
alarm?
is
Would that be
off,
something you'd wanna watch
either,
in
or
and get a
maybe the
notification or
bacteria
know about?
died and Yeah, now there's a definitely whole for an bunch of just aquarium, sediment and small particles that are able to just stay in the water.
Something has gone
So,
wrong with your filter.
things like that can change it.
Bacteria is going out of control.
Dissolved
No,
solids
a lot of
or
bacteria,
like ammonia
or the
levels
pH
can
has
cause
changed and
particles to
something
crash out of
off,
solution.
or
So things
maybe
like
the
that
bacteria
can
died and now
affect
there's a whole bunch of
turbidity.
sediment
Um,
and
Sometimes it can be
particles
like
that are
calcium
able to just stay in
ions
water.
solidifying and not able to be dissolved in the water anymore. So they'll crash out and
Dissolved
become
solids,
little particles you can see
or like
in the
ammonia
water.
levels can cause
And you'd characterize that visually? Or
Yeah, it become cloudy. If it can become cloudy, and if you see your water becoming cloudy suddenly, that's a pretty good indication that something's going
Something's
wrong, and you need to take a look at your water chemistry and take care of it quickly, or your aquarium's going to die. We've noticed that right before a crash, all of a sudden the water will go cloudy, and everything all of a sudden dies. Usually within a short amount of time. With the shrimp tank that went cloudy and then everyone died.
Yeah, yep. Strangely enough, too, though, I don't have a mic right now, but strangely enough, too, it's almost like the unclouding occurred that was shocking when our air stones, remember we had our
Cletus tank.
Cletus tank is what we call it, but it's crayfish. It's just like really filled with wood and dirt and like overfed and just like a lot of sediment, but the nitrate levels were actually always shockingly low.
Yeah.
And so when it was never a clear tank. And
It's
now
always
it
like-
crashed. The air pump was off on it for 3 days, and unfortunately lost a number of the crawfish. And like went anaerobic. A number of them did survive, fortunately. But ever since then, it's been really clear,
Yeah, I
which is
noticed that.
fascinating.
You can, yeah, it used to
So
be
you want
couldn't
to
see through
clear
it.
your aquarium, take the fish out, crash it,
Yeah.
You know?
If it's already cloudy, just turn off the air.
So it's going to be interesting to see what goes down. I mean, yeah. I'm trying to get my mic working so I can join in, but it's been fun actually just listening to you guys talk without me chiming in. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, so do we want to get some initial readings on like conductivity, total dissolved solids for both tanks?
Sure.
We can take note. I can start to look at the microlife in the water, both of them.
Cool.
See what's living in there.
Yeah, are we going to build something there? What's the kind of game plan? What are we thinking?
We absolutely can. So I have
Yes.
the stuff to get the TDS here.
Do we need do you want to build it and then we can test what we build against?
Yeah, we should use the
We
same
can do that,
sensor so it
yeah.
can be uniform. You don't want to use different sensors every time you do a test if you're trying to scientifically see
what
if
I'm
there's a
thinking,
difference.
Like if we get like his system working, we can basically calibrate to the other probe that we got.
Yep.
Make sure it's like, or see, the accuracy. But
Yeah, and if you
Sick.
use the same probe, at least you'll have consistency,
Yep.
and the change won't be due to a different probe working better, working worse.
It's so true. Like I have like a pH monitor that actually finally did die, but like for a while it was just low, right? It was
Yeah.
just, and even when it calibrated for some reason I don't understand, but I knew like to monitor, I could see it was like a point off, but it was when it shifted that is what mattered.
Yeah.
Stability and change are what.
If you know your probe,
Yeah.
you know this is the normal reading for it, and if it changes, something's off.
Yeah, like the ppms like are ultimately just multiplied by 500 or 700 depending on where you are in these C numbers. So it's like it's all relative, right? It's
Yeah.
about what it does. So yeah, cool. All right, I'm gonna try to get my mic working once more.
Cool. So how are we gonna hook these sensors up?
Alrighty, so
Sean asked, what would die if the pH was raised?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah. What would die if the pH was raised? Depends on how much you raise it and how quickly you raise it. If you have a fish, so different organisms like certain pHs or don't like rapid change in pH. So for discus, for example, you want it to be a slower change in pH. You don't want to suddenly overreact if you notice that the pH is too acidic. If you change it really quick, I think it's hard for them to adapt, and they can die from the shock of the change. Matt, what pH do the discus like it at?
It's such a funny thing, right? So wild discus, right? And this is something I realized, like Lorraine, one of my favorite discus, she was struggling, right? And I had my pH around 6.2. And Mandy actually totally picked up on it. I was gone for 1 week, and she was like, I think what she's been struggling about is the pH being too low. And she's clearly like one that's been bred in captivity for many, many generations. And I think she wants it like at 6.8, like 7. And wild discus are like 6. And so I've been pushing the pH up higher, and it seems to be having a positive response for the ones that my hunch is have been bred in captivity for longer. The ones that are like really colorful, are like deeper into like domestication ultimately, and therefore probably like I guess like in Germany there's discus that are bred for alkaline water. Yeah, like straight up like they do better on like 7.5.
So they bred them to do more alkaline water.
Which is cool, just adapted to natural conditions of the tap there. Pretty smart,
Yeah.
So
Very cool.
do you see different traits expressed at different pH levels?
that's an interesting thing, right?
I wonder if any of the pigments are pH.
Food. I'm wondering if it would they'd respond to diet. Like I know I will tell you, I can almost tell like crustaceans start declining when it gets more acidic or shifting, like those Malaysian snails, they seem to be fine with like really acidic conditions, but shrimp will disappear. If your shrimp suddenly disappear and you don't even see them, they just basically melt because it's too acidic. That's something I've noticed.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Hey, have you ever looked at the chitosan, the liquid chitosan, and seen what happens when you change the pH?
No.
If you, so
Talk to me.
if you make it more alkaline, it is less soluble in water. So
Interesting. That's a lot of organic fertilizers. You know, like they're like stored. Like a lot of the ones are stored in like super acidic conditions. Otherwise, they just crash out.
yeah,
So that's how they keep them soluble. Which is why, like, if you're using like liquid organics, you tend to have to add a lot of pH up to kind of get it in. And it's interesting because they should be, the brands that produce those bottles should be very specific about what to use, in my opinion, about what to pH up with, because what you're doing is, like, if you're adding a calcium-based pH up versus a phosphorus one, you know,
Yeah,
carbonate-based, bicarbonate, you know, there's options,
yeah,
and it'll impact things.
definitely. Yeah, just the chemical interactions as well as the pH is gonna.
Yeah, like if you're adding just calcium carbonate, you might be throwing your calcium to magnesium ratio out of whack, right? Like,
And depending on what salts or what chemicals are in there, some calcium salts are not soluble. So if they react, you're just gonna lose all the calcium.
Yep.
Because it's just gonna become solid, and not even in the water.
Exactly. Yeah, and it might in that case even act as like a buffer down the line too. And like,
Yeah.
so that's why like I have my own little pH up mix where I take calcium carbonate and magnesium or Epsom salt.
Yeah.
And that kind of buffers, but also keeps my calcium and magnesium ratios where I want them.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's my thought. You know, I should probably consider other minerals too that would interact with those guys, but it seems like calcium seems to be like a defining like balancer of the things in a lot of.
It's not. It doesn't usually like harm if it's a little too high.
Yeah.
And it can bounce back and forth between soluble and not soluble, so it's really good for just keeping that pH stable.
Yep. Yeah, totally. So I've been adding
Silver might be another one, but it's really toxic to the environment. So
Yeah.
silver, there's a lot of salts
Highly
with silver
antimicrobial.
it's antimicrobial, but also a lot of the salts are not soluble in water, so they'll crash out as soon as it interacts with something else.
I was, by the way, it's related to silver being antimicrobial. The reason why that's fresh in my head is I was reading some posts about someone who found, you know, like basically inherited silver cutlery in someone's on Reddit. I was watching. I was like, you know, going down the comments, and they're like, "Oh, those were used." People thought they, you know, prevent them from getting sick, but I guess there is an antimicrobial property to them. Silver. So having silverware.
Use it for wound dressings.
Yeah.
Even since like ancient Rome, they used silver in their wound dressings to kill the bacteria, prevent infection. And now for a lot of the burn creams, for like people with very serious burns, they use silver sulfadiazine, which is like a compound that it's like a complex with silver, and that kills bacteria and fungus so you don't get infections on those burns.
So cool.
And you use it in animals instead of triple antibiotic ointment because it's not as harmful if they ingest it as the antibiotics are.
Wow.
Because the antibiotics will kill their gut microbes. The silver, I think it breaks down in their digestive system before it can do that, so it won't kill their gut microbes if they eat it.
That is so cool.
They shouldn't eat it, but they can lick it off and they won't die. If you have a rabbit, if you get dysbiosis in a rabbit, it is so hard to treat. They
Dysbiosis
is when their gut bacteria is messed up and gives them diarrhea.
Okay.
So when you go to a different country and drink the water,
Oh yeah, I get dysbiosis, traveler's dysbiosis.
yeah,
I'm gonna start calling it when I go.
it's
next time I get it.
the bacteria in your GI system is shifted and your body doesn't react to it well, so it gives you diarrhea.
And that is literally what we're probably going to witness, possibly going to witness. We don't know. Because the other thing is I am thinking, like, where the pH is so drastically different, I am wondering whether, I don't know.
I wonder if we should pH the tank a
think-
little bit.
Yeah, it's
To
so
not-
tricky, because
do
that's going
you-
to throw it off in the, right?
Yeah, do you want it? Are you more curious about what the life in the water that you have is going to do in there?
Making the tank acidic would on its own shift things. So
Yeah.
it's,
Do you want it to be more between the two and do a little bit of a shift for both rather than a drastic shift for one?
a little A, a little B.
Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you, funny enough, that tank, It took a while. It was always really super acidic for like the first year or so, and just adding calcium carbonate with magnesium over time, eventually it's kind of like leveled itself out finally.
Yeah.
But like a year ago, it was always really acidic. So yeah, what are you thinking? Do you want to meet in the middle?
I think we meet in the middle. Otherwise, I think
The numerical middle, or like the actual logarithmic middle?
the logarithmic middle.
Hey Jeff, where's Jeff? Jeff, we need you to do some
boy.
math. Our math boy, come here, my friend. I'm gonna sub him out. Math boy. We have we just happen to have a math genius in the room, so he's gonna take over.
We're not smart enough to do numbers and stuff. Can you help us?
Oh, guys, we got somebody thinks you're smart.
The only logs I know how to deal with are the ones that were in diapers, and I'm past those days, so I'm gonna check it out. Yeah.
What's the question we got?
Somebody says you guys sound smart. I'm still learning. You know
Oh.
what's wrong when they think we're smart.
That's why.
Yeah.
No, we just pretend very well.
If you're still learning,
Acting.
that's a sign that you are smart. Because if you're interested in learning,
What about if you're just trying to learn but never do?
But I mean,
well, that's the effort that counts.
I forget who it was. One of the old Greek philosophers had something that I really loved. He said, "True wisdom is knowing that you know nothing."
Right. I feel like the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know, so you want to learn more. And then there's just always a constant steep incline.
And Strassel says great job.
Well, yeah, our cameraman is pretty awesome, so we do have to give him some props there.
The AI one or the gimbal one?
Oh, that's low. So what is the math question?
What's a log?
It has been a very long time since I've done logarithms.
Wrong answer.
Oh, I have to give me like 1 second to look this up, and then I will give you an answer.
Okay, I was distracted by Matt.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Well, Matt is very distracting.
So we're going to adjust the pH, and we want it to meet in the middle between the two tanks, kinda. And we know that pH is a logarithmic scale of how many hydrogen atoms there are floating around in there free. So if we wanted to meet in the middle of the two, I don't know how we would do that.
Jeff can do it in his head.
No.
I think
Logarithmic.
there's a song about it from Ren and Stimpy. It's log, better than bad, it's good.
So basically,
Wrong one.
Oh,
basically a logarithm,
logarithm.
logarithm. Try saying it 5 times fast. So basically, the idea is you have a base number and you have your target number.
Yep.
And the question is, how many times do you have to, how many powers do you have to increase that base number to get to your target number? And by what power, what I mean is multiplying that number by itself, and it's most likely not going to be a nice, clean, round number. So it gets into fractions and things like that.
Okay.
And I do remember doing those, and yes, I remember them being very unfun.
So do you think if we just shoot for the number that is in between the pH of 4 and the pH of, was it 7 in the other one? Do you think that would be actually a good estimation of the middle of the two?
It's going to be weighted. I would say that a better estimate would probably be closer to a quarter of the way.
Oh, okay.
Just because with exponents, you have a very quick move to a steep curve.
Yeah.
So I would say quarter is probably a better rough estimate. You can get them. You can use ChatGPT, for example, to get an exact number. But for eyeball purposes, quarters would do it.
Okay. So let's see so we're going to decrease the pH of the other tank by about a quarter between the two.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Matt, what was the pH of the big tank?
I think Matt has found it.
6.9.
6.9.
7.
Oh, 6.8. 6.8. Okay.
6.8. The little tank was 4.2.
That sounds about right, yes. I don't think Roku's going to help us on this one. So 4.2 is going to be interesting because I need to know the volumes a little bit better to see what final pH we'd expect. But
So I think we're just trying to get that one closer to the pH of that one.
okay, so
We're just going to eyeball how much stuff we're going to add to it, but we need to know what number we're aiming for. So I think,
so 6.5 to 4. That's a 2.5 point difference.
so like basically 0.5.
Yeah, I would think.
Decrease it by a half.
I think, and again, I cannot stress this enough. I have not done any sort of logs since high school, which for me was, not just decade, it was last century.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, we used to have the cranking adding machines, to do our sums,
Yeah.
typewriters to do our papers.
Yeah. And abacuses.
Abaci.
Abaci.
We joke, but I actually did first learn to type on a typewriter in like 3rd grade.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't that long ago.
No, not at all. All right, so I think, are we ready to start building the testing and look in the microscope?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'll get the microscope set up if you want to start getting some sensors together.
Absolutely.
Let's do so.
Cool.
Yay!
I'm going to take a little while to get the microscope going. So do you want to like show how you're going to clip things together and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
All right, Chris.
You guys
I'm going to be sitting and watching because I'm curious about this stuff, and JT's going to be busy.
Absolutely.
That is a nice soldering kit.
You guys need a hand?
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beats my like $5 soldering iron.
So as we look through, this guy's got a lot of pins. I'm not going to count them.
Yeah, that's
A
30?
lot. Sure.
I mean, it looks like 15 on the side.
I'll take your word for it.
Maybe
we can
not.
count them later. Some of these can be used for analog signals. Some of these can be used for digital. We are going to use what I remember putting in before. So our sensors here, we have at least what I brought with me. We have this, guys. This is a analog sensor.
Okay.
So that guy goes into the water, and out comes 3 wires. So that's negative, positive, and the signal.
Oh,
Or I'm sorry, positive, ground, and signal.
positive grounding signal. Yep. That's right. Negative is ground, isn't it?
Yeah. Or AC/DC, the whole game. It's I never remember.
Yeah. Electricity was never my strong suit in physics, so you'll have to bear with my slow understanding.
Hey, so we got a comment from the crowd, and Mom wants to let you know you have a nice purple shirt.
Oh, why? Thank you.
Yeah, that is a gorgeous color, I gotta say. I don't know if you guys heard. We had a comment that about the shirt. So
Say hi to Mom.
Hi. Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
it's a family thing here at Gardin.
So this is that guy.
Yep. So
And
this goes in the water. Yep.
now this has positive and ground. This is our temperature sensor, and this also, our 3 wires coming out of here are temperature, ground, and a different signal. So we connected the grounds, the hots together, and each one of them had their own signal for 4 wires.
That's cool. Okay, so yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Why not combine the hots and the grounds if they're not doing anything but providing the power?
Exactly.
Now, wired in series or no, in parallel, I would guess, yes?
Parallel.
Parallel,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. And so we did some soldering here, but if you don't want to solder, I showed earlier these Wago clips. So these are great if you're doing this at home and don't have anything, all of this setup, you can still make do with the sensors. So let's grab, we have enough here to do 2. Now, honestly, one is a bit broken, but that won't make a difference. What we do is we just take our wire,
Ooh, snippy snip.
a snippy snip. We go into the stripper, we find the one where it fits, we pull out and strip. From there, you just twist this guy and you put it into the cable, and there you go. So I generally use this for my power and ground to connect these over, but again, we have this guy out here today, so we're just going to use him.
Fair enough.
If we'd like, we can, but I'm going to connect these over. Now we're going to try to map these. The black is on the bottom. And in this case, the black, it looks like the bottom one goes to this far right wire. We're going to go brown to black. And then we see red is next. And then it looks like if we tip this over, this side is this guy and next. So we're just going to remember the orange is for the TDS, for the EC, and the yellow is for our temperature. Now if we come over to here, these guys are all labeled. So I'll use my terrible eyes and hope we get this right. But these are 3-volt sensors, so we're going to want the 3-volt pin. Next to it there's a ground. And now we said that these are 2 analog pins. Now I can go and change it, but I believe I have these configured for any of these 2 pins over here. When I go back over, I'm going to find out. So we just, it's very easy. We just wire these guys up. We remember brown went to ground.
Yep.
5-volt, or 3-volt, sorry. So some of these can run at 3-volt, some of these can run at 5. USB is 5-volt actually. So you can cut open a USB cable, take the red cable and splice it onto this side, the white cable, splice it onto that side, and you can power these just by cutting open a USB cable and using those wires.
But it does have a USB input, is that correct?
So this has USB input. We're also going to wire up a camera to point there.
Ah.
And that one you can run with or without. So this camera is the chip, and the chip is sitting right here on the back. And this is a programmer chip that will also give it power. So we can either run it with the chip, which is likely what we'll run today,
Well,
or
you
you'll
are
be
the
able to
expert.
solder that guy over. But this will probably be our camera. And this is all in one. We don't have to solder, we don't have to wire, we just plug it into our computer and we are good to go.
Wow.
So let's go ahead and get our sticky on the back. Now, if you do like taking these things further and end up being a hobbyist, you can always extend this with prints. Over next to us, we have some cool tools for what are called heat set inserts. So you can go down to Home Depot and buy perhaps acrylic or maybe just plastic that came with your recycling packaging. And you can put screw holes into it and mount this stuff there if you'd like. There's all sorts of options in the hobby space. That's the beauty of building your own sensor. Now I want to point out, buying sensors is always easier, but this is it's fun to make your own stuff sometimes.
Yeah, that is way beyond me.
But right here we have a camera, and right here we
Yep.
have our sensors up. So when we will cut away, and I will go ahead, we plug these into the laptop. I can probably bring over the laptop and take a look, but it's a very simple interface. You say, we would go over and we'd say pin number 34 goes to the sensor, temperature sensor, and number 32 goes to the TDS.
Excellent, excellent. Refresh my memory. What does this one measure again? Acidity?
So this one is the conductivity of the water between those two, and it's used for total dissolved solids, or how much not water is in your water.
Gotcha, gotcha. Which we expect to be quite high compared to, say, tap water.
Correct. And so this is normally in ppm, or parts per million.
Which makes sense, yep, yep.
So I don't believe we need to automate any pumps or check our water levels, so this might be all we have. We had a turbidity sensor somewhere.
I believe it's behind the aquarium over there. Or not behind, but on the other side.
Here we go.
Perfect. Now this one I find very neat. So yeah, let's get that in there. So what you were telling me is that it looks between these two contacts here. Let me hold this up here. Whoa, that's maybe a little too close. But anyways, between these 2 points, and it basically looks for how clear the water is. Now, my concern is that this is a pretty narrow gap, and depending on the homogenation of the water, is it going to be accurate? I mean, because will parts of the water be clearer than others? And I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't know, because I slept through most of biology.
I think an interesting upgrade, I don't know if we want to do this today or not, but I think a PVC pipe that we cut a hole into and put this into, I think you're onto something. I think is everywhere going to be mixed the same?
Yeah, and if we put it near the filter, probably the input of the filter I think would be the best. It should get a consistent, at least stream, and give us more data, if anything else. And it'll give us an idea how consistent it is and how homogeneous it is. Because if the readings are very steady, then we know that it's a pretty good mixture. But if it fluctuates, then we know that it's very different, and ebbs and flows, and all of that. All right, JT, how are we looking on the microscope?
Good.
Ready to go? Yeah, I think we're just about done at this point here.
Wow. That was quick.
Yeah.
We are all wired up. We could just...
Yeah. All right, JT, let me go give you a microphone so that you can talk and people can actually hear you. All right. Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So I think Matt found a squirrel
Yeah,
or something shiny.
he abandoned us.
He does that. So what are we looking at here?
So this here, I have, I have the aquarium water that we're gonna look at first. So I'm just gonna, I got this from, I grabbed a little bit from a bunch of different spots.
Now this is the existing aquarium or the new 10 gallons?
This is the existing aquarium.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure.
So I grabbed a bunch of good muck, try to see what's going on in here. Where did I put the cover slips?
I don't know.
Someone said there's a squirrel.
Yeah. Hey Matt, do you want to grab some cover slips?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
So let's put this on under here. I'll add a cover slip after. So first, this is just the regular aquarium as is, without adding any new life to it yet. Oh, perfect.
All right, I have no idea how to open this, so I'm going to leave that with you.
Okay. Fair enough. So right now it just looks like a lot of debris. gonna put a cover slip on to flatten it all out and make it not as jiggly.
Jiggly, jiggly. Very jiggly.
Oh, these are brand new. Wow. Find these to be pretty satisfying when you just have a whole cube of very thin pieces of glass.
I always love the
Ooh.
cover slips.
Oh yeah.
Look at that stacking, bro.
Oh yeah.
So beautiful. I love how flexible they are until they break.
Yeah.
All right. Now, are we showing the microscope?
Not yet. Once he gets it dialed in.
Perfect. All right.
Picture in picture, so we'll see.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Everything got squished.
Whoa, look at this guy.
All right. Can we? Oh, the camera's just white.
Maybe put him in.
Do you need to adjust up here? No, that doesn't seem to be helping.
I don't think it's connected. Because this dot should move when I twist it.
Huh. I hear it making noises.
There we go.
Oh, there. Perfect. Yay! This thing is just fascinating. Now, what are we looking at?
This.
Wow.
So over here we see a little guy swimming around. Perhaps. He zoomed away from me.
Pretty cool shirt on you. Texture.
Let's see.
But
You from the French Riviera or something. I don't know where fashion comes from.
so this guy, he was just moving a second ago. This big blob
big
in
one?
the middle, yeah.
Oh, there he goes. He's doing. Oh no, that's just your focus. So what is he? Do you think?
Some sort of protozoa. He's really big. I think he might actually be some sort of invertebrate.
Now, what is the magnification right now?
Right now, it is 4 times. My eyepiece is 40, but this isn't. The camera isn't hooked up to another zoom, so I think it's just
4.
4. Unless the camera has a zoom in its own.
It's so wild. You change the light, and all of a sudden, so much more becomes visible.
Yep. See him wiggling a little bit? I think he's looking for food.
That little guy to the bottom left of him looks like a fish, but I'm pretty sure he's not. But he might be food.
Yeah, he's pretty big.
Hey,
He's the
hungry little
lowest-
guy.
Lowest magnification.
What do you think? Should we get closer?
Yeah, let's. So one closer.
Oh, that's just a very blurry blob. That actually kind of matches. Oh, matches my shirt now. All right, so this is just straight up water, nothing fancy, right?
This is just out of the aquarium,
Yep.
the regular aquarium. I went through the filter a little bit to kick up some muck.
Yeah, well, you need the muck if you're going to be looking under the microscope. The muck is the interesting stuff.
Oh yeah. Now I'm just moving around to see if I can see anything moving. Oh.
That's moving, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like it's pulsating. Looks angry.
It's just wiggling around in there.
That's not going to eat my soul, is it?
As long as you don't eat it.
Huh. That's going to be hard, but I'll do my best. Now, is that alive, or is there something alive moving it, do you think?
There's something alive moving it. I can't really see what's in there.
Yeah, let's blow up the microscope view, I think. We're not very interesting, not in comparison. There we go.
You just want to see.
I want to see better too, yes.
Let's zoom in one more and see what we can see.
Ooh. Spooky.
So I think this is a 5 megapixel camera, so it can be a little bit hard to
Yeah.
get good.
Whatever's happening in there is interesting. The little buggies are having a party. Where was my invite?
Oh yeah, they said no, Jeff.
Was it no Jeff or no Jeffs? Because if it's no Jeffs, they're allowed one, and it probably wouldn't be me.
Yeah, they said there could be one, but there was already one there.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. All right, so we're just. Oh, there's something yellow just flashed through the screen.
Here, I'm gonna go back out one. See if there's any more bugs moving around.
All right, now JT, what do you think when we take the water from the new water from the lake pond, vernal pond? That's the word I think I was looking for. You think it's going to be
Springtime puddle.
springtime puddle?
Basically, what it is. It's a giant springtime puddle.
All right, so Matt's saying it's a giant springtime puddle.
The fish can't swim it,
So no fishes, but everything else.
That's the key to it, no fish.
No fish. That's what makes it a vernal
And that's
pond.
why animals are like, sweet, I'm going to live here. Because if you had tadpoles in the river,
All right. Yeah. So Matt's saying that, no fish there, and that's why animals love it, because, the tadpoles don't have to worry about getting eaten. And the other things that live in there, the little bugs, larvae. I don't know. I'm excited to look at the swamp water. I'm going to call it swamp water. I know it's pond, but.
Let's check out that swamp.
All right.
So,
What can I do to help? New slide? Oh, yeah, that is.
what is this red thing? There's like a red bug swimming.
Oh, yeah. It's not a tick, is it?
I don't think so.
No, it's a little tick shaped, but
It's weird.
yeah, I can't trust my eyes. I'm old. There he goes.
Gotta get a macro. Where's the camera? You think it'll focus?
That might be too close. Just try to get the red bug on the slide. And then we can take, oh, I saw him. Not sharp, but he is in there. All right. All right, JT, you ready to put that little bugger on a slide? Oh, I got a
Yes.
slide up here.
Perfect.
You need a pipette.
Yep. So after we check these guys out, I also set up these slides with stain on them. So when we put whatever's alive in here on those, it will stay alive, but it'll also change the color of their organelles. And we'll be able to see, one of them is for seeing digestion happening. And one of them is to see like nucleus and I think mitochondria. I have to double check. It's methylene blue.
Oh, we have a question.
Water mite. Water mite what?
You asked what's in there.
Yes,
Oh,
the little
They-
bug.
yeah, there might be water in here. Yeah, it's where you said it was tick shaped, and that could be what it is. Mites are arachnids. And he's swimming around. I've never seen a water mite before.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun.
Well, I don't think I have. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
All right. Do you need a
Oh, yeah.
slide cover?
Cover slip.
Cover slide. I'll get the terminology eventually.
Cover glass, it says.
All right. Can we get the microscope back up? On the hunt for things.
Here's a
Oh, there's
thing.
something.
That's a thing.
Oh, that's a weird thing. He's doing a little dance. Look at him go.
He's looking for food. He's oh, he's going on the move.
Wow, that is wild. You can see right through him.
We should look up what that is.
Let's see. I wonder if I can just do. All right, so Google image search said this is a copepod, which is a type of crustacean. But it also said it's saltwater, so I don't know if that's really what it is.
Brackish pond water.
Oh, ChatGTP.
Rotifer.
Rotifer. All right.
I don't think.
Think I lied?
I think it's incorrect.
Ooh. I don't know. The ID features seem pretty spot on. Lost him. Where'd he go? And he's got the foot/tail.
Oh. This is something different.
Oh, what is, yeah, that's a little guy. Now, what magnification would we need to see, have to see tardigrades?
I think we'd be able to see them at this magnification.
Cool. Because who doesn't like water bears?
There was just a nematode here. I don't know where it went.
Camera shy. He's hiding behind some of the other gunk. We have to make sure we get waivers for these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Are we, yeah, the round thing?
Little sphere.
It doesn't look like it's moving.
No.
And I just realized I probably shouldn't lean on the table with the microscope.
There's a string of algae and another one of those guys.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's cute. Let's call him Frederick.
Yeah, this one's Frederick.
He looks like a Frederick, right?
So rotifers usually have like these little spinning cilia that they're eating with, which is why I don't really think that this is one. He's got more of like a mouth, a sticky mouth, and a tail. Oh yeah, I want to say that, see the tip with the two little black dots, I want to say those are his nostrils, and he's more like a Squidward type guy.
No, he looks mad now.
Yeah, he's mad that we're looking at him, and I called it his nose.
Yeah, I mean, he has a valid reason. Like, we're peeping in on him. This is his home.
He's not used to being observed.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. It's just so weird the way that they move.
Yeah. It's like a dance almost.
It is. It's very fluidic, which makes sense because he's in fluid. I like the way he compresses, though, and he turns into a ball, and then his leg just sticks out and propels him forward. Now, would something like this, do you figure, be on something solid under the water, or would he just be floating around usually?
I think it'd be on something solid usually.
Okay, that makes, yeah, that's what I would have guessed with the leg, but
He might be a rotifer. So if we had a phase contrast microscope, it'd be easier to see. So phase contrast uses like light coming from the sides kind of to light it up, and then there's usually some a little bit of a polarizer so you can see structures that are invisible a little bit better. And so if you have that, you can usually see like the cilia moving around. Let's see what else we can find over here.
yeah, Frederick needs a friend. Let's find him a friend.
Oh, that's a cool shape.
A little, yeah, that's, what is that? It almost looks like a flower of some sort. I imagine that's too small to be one, though.
Oh, what's this? This is a rotifer.
Oh, he's not too smart. He just keeps going around in circles. We should call him Bob.
Hey, Bob, get it together.
I go circles one way. I stop, I go circles the other way. I am Bob.
Whoa,
Wow,
better
he is,
circles. What's that spiky ball? That's a good question. Might be some sort of diatom. But Bob's pretty cool.
I like Bob. He's not too bright, but
But that's why we like him.
exactly, he's fun. Good to have at parties. You know, it really gets the dance floor going.
Yeah. He knows how to break. What's that one where you spin on your head?
I don't know. I know it's breakdancing, but that's about the extent of my knowledge there. Yeah.
Well, he's feeling the music, even though, well, maybe it's microscopic music.
I mean, it wouldn't take much volume. Now, is he spinning around in circles because he's pinned in some way, or is he just having a good time?
He's pinned in some way.
Okay. Would it be the slide, or?
Yeah.
Oh, now I feel bad for Bob. Free Bob.
No.
So is that the spiky ball?
That's another spiky ball. It might be pollen.
That's a good point. It's that time of year. And my car was coated in it the other day.
Little algae. Whoa, algae and algae. So there's a lot of different life in here. Doing cool things. Let's go a little bit closer.
Oh, that looks like Bob's brother.
Oh yeah, that's Kevin. Remember the first microscope episode we did where we had microbes like fighting each other?
Yeah, we need some more of that.
Yeah, we were gonna take
Two
bets.
microbes enter, one microbe leaves.
Oh yeah, and then we wanted to have them fight blood. Human blood.
I don't remember that part. But I'm sure Matt wouldn't mind donating. Ooh, what have we here? All sorts of stuff.
There's a bunch of stuff. Hey Matt, can we have some of your blood?
Yeah. Why?
We wanted to fight the microbes.
Really?
Yeah,
Some of my blood?
yeah.
I mean,
Bob was having a crisis.
yeah, sure. Let's do something smaller.
Yeah, Bob will feel better as soon as we take the slide cover off.
If you need a cup, you can cup me.
All right, so Matt's volunteering his blood. You said we can take all of it, so
How do we get it though?
he's asking how we get it. I assume carefully, not carefully.
Leeches.
Leeches,
I'm down.
old school. I like it. I'm sure we could find leeches in here somewhere,
There's gotta be one.
at least. I keep touching the table. I shouldn't do that. Chris, how's everything over here looking?
Oh, it's looking fantastic. We're just putting the software onto the microcontroller now. As you can see, we just have to choose which pins go to which device and hit play and wait for it to happen.
Excellent. Now, how frequently is it going to take measurements?
That's pretty cool.
So we can configure that. Right now we're configured to update every 30 seconds.
Excellent.
Something's moving around in there. I think that's
Yeah, what is that, JT?
microbe guts. I think this might
Microbe
be
guts.
an egg of some sort.
I mean, that's what I would have guessed, but I mean, I am not a biologist.
Sure you are.
Dr. Karash would disagree with that statement. My old high school biology teacher. Of course, he probably doesn't even remember who I am, so that's also a, valid thing.
Commander, never heard of him. He mustn't be a biologist.
I'm getting a note from somebody, and I'm not sure what it is. Looking at the screen.
Here's a message.
Oh, there we go.
Comment.
The two dots are moving in the circle. That was on the egg
Yeah,
looking thing.
I think it was a baby.
You think it was?
Well, not a human one.
Well, no, obviously not a human baby, but a bug baby or frog baby. I mean, they're saying tadpoles are too early. Maybe it's
Probably some sort of nematode.
no, so nematode. Yes, and for the people who might not know what a nematode is,
It's like a little tiny worm.
Yummy.
Have you ever watched SpongeBob?
You know, I have seen it a couple of times. Yes.
Okay, well, there's one episode where these little guys run around eating everything, and they eat his house.
I don't think I saw that particular episode.
Well, those are nematodes, I guess.
They're gonna eat your feet.
I mean, yeah.
Eat my toes.
A kaiju.
What was that?
A kaiju.
What's that?
Monster. Godzilla.
Oh. I see. Yeah, I'm not very up to date with.
Mothra.
Ooh, that's a nice shot. They're little spiky things.
Those are eggs. There's a tail.
Yeah, what is that? Is that a shrimp? Too big. No, not big enough, rather. Yeah, what is that? JT, tell us, what is that?
I think this is a crustacean of some sort.
Now, are those eggs from the crustacean?
Yeah, I think he got squished by the cover slip.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
Whoa. Where's that?
That's in your pond water.
That is I believe it's a,
It's a macro of your micro.
yeah,
Oh, so brightly.
I think that's a damselfly larvae.
Does she look in distress? It's not a damsel in distress, is it?
Yeah.
well, now it's not moving. Oh, there it goes. That doesn't look good.
Wow, way to go, Pat.
Yeah.
This is a kid show. Can you stop showing? Let me guess, deep on the Ooh, she's alive.
Oh, good, good, good. I was worried there for a second. Hooray!
I know you.
On the prowl. All right, guys, so what's next? What do we got next?
So let's check out how these stains look, unless you're ready to do anything else.
I mean, yeah, we're not ready with the components yet. So I guess we will stick with some of the slides here.
I'm gonna give you guys this red thing.
What's this red thing? Blood? Could we use blood? Oh, you're saying the answer. What is that red thing? Whoa. Go this way.
All right, so that potential water mite is being transferred back to the tank.
We got him. Is he coming in your picture? See him?
Cool.
Wow, that maidenfly larva is just hanging out, isn't it? All right, so you can't see from that angle, folks, but JT is adding our beautiful pond water to some of his stain drops. And it's kind of pretty, actually. It's blue and red stains.
Yep. So I set them up earlier. I diluted some stain and then I dried it on the slide so that we could do this, basically. And these should be safe for the critters, but it will color their organelles. Open this up.
Wow, that fly shot is just spectacular. Yeah, one thing I love about Gardin here is all the fancy toys.
Yo, guys, check out the screen.
Whoa, he's twerking.
What are we looking at?
That's a damselfly larvae, I think. But we could ask Google what kind.
I love how there's just things swimming around it. Now, what is it doing, I wonder?
Just chilling.
Oh, it keeps...
Trying to move the water around it, like agitate, like maybe food or like something. I don't know. It's like a weird.
Yeah, it's very silly looking, isn't it? It's not trapped, is it?
No, it's clung on to like.
It's holding.
grabs onto it.
Do you think there's too much flow in this water? Should I turn off like for these guys? I'm wondering.
Maybe a little bit, yeah, like turn it down.
Maybe I'll turn it off. This
All right.
or turn down.
Really try to minimize. They don't want it.
Yeah, so I think my hypothesis is going to be that the snails in this tank here just eat everything that we add, and we have no effect on the internal ecology of the tank.
Yeah, everything just goes back to the.
Yes, it just all gets absorbed, and you just get some chunky snails.
I like that.
That's my theory.
That's a good prediction.
That's my hypothesis, based on absolutely no understanding of how any of this really works.
Hey, could be right. You never know. I find it hard to predict what's going to happen sometimes with these aquariums. And I've got so many. Oh yeah. I still like all these aquariums are, you know, sharing similar water and ecology, and there's certain things I'm learning, but then I just keep being surprised by shifts. It's just inevitably, it's almost like the ecology is always changing. You can't keep it stable. Because these plants, for instance, right here, I couldn't get to do well in this tank for the longest time, and suddenly they are. So, what are we seeing? How's this going, Chris?
We're having trouble getting the temperature sensor to read, but we've got the conductivity sensor.
We should be putting this up on the screen, like what he's doing for over here.
So I'm
Here, let me
trying
just-
to troubleshoot. We're not seeing the temperature sensor, so we're just we're reading through the logs here and trying to figure out exactly where. But we're seeing everything else good, and we're just winding this into our server side. So
Is the red light behind you helpful? I'm just joking. I can turn that off.
that's quite all right.
Cool. Here, check this out. If you want, can I turn this to them?
Sure, go ahead.
You want to see what he's up to? Yeah. Do you want to walk him through? So you're using Home Assist.
Home
Assistant.
assist.
I'm sorry.
So this is the this is
And for
where we're
people at
taking-
home, this is is this an IDE? Or
yes.
So it's a development environment. So basically, this is where you can code. Like, do you want to walk through? This is the files over to the left.
And here's all the different pieces that describe.
Let me quickly unplug this real quick.
Yeah, these are all the pieces on the side. These are all the different files that describe different sensors that I've set up for my home system. And if we go down over here to Matt's, we can see that we have his water sensor set up, and we had the pins that we described earlier, and we just have to plug them into these templates. We talked about the formulas down below, and once again, here's some templates that we just pulled online. And then we just, as simple as plug it into the computer and hit the play button. So we have some flashing software over here.
So what language are we looking at right now?
So this
Sorry, I just want to get the light so you can see it.
this is all built using a configuration language called YAML. So this is
Which is
describing
oh my gosh, so rusty.
Question
Does
from
YAML
the
stand for?
audience, what
So these sensors are going. Oh, these sensors are going to be checking our water temperature, our total dissolved solids, or TDS, our turbidity, or how cloudy the water is. Additionally, we're getting set up for some pH sensors and some water level as well. So here's our formula for temperature controlled voltage. And then once we plug all this in, so behind the scenes, this is all written in C, which is what the microcontroller uses. But this is a future. We live in a time where you can take work that's already done without programming. You can just copy paste from different sources and throw them all together.
So cool.
So once we get that wired, we go over to our flashing interface.
Doing this stuff, it's so cool to see how far this has come. past decade.
Absolutely.
Because I've been, you know, jumping in and out, like not for a few years, and it's so neat. Like it's so cool how mainstream, how much there is out there now.
So once this compiles everything and throws it on our chip, we won't need to be connected to the computer anymore. So we'll use this for power, and these guys will all be reading.
Sick.
So from there,
So you're loading up on the Arduino.
yep,
That's an Arduino. And so are we gonna be able to? That's a Wi-Fi connected Arduino.
yep. So we can see. Don't that.
that-
It's got your Wi-Fi in there.
Oh,
We're
cool,
all
yeah.
loaded up. We're assigned. You don't need to see the Wi-Fi password screen.
Now you guys can look at it.
So we're all connected in, and it's connecting to the server. So on the server side, what we do,
Oh, you can bring it over now.
Coast is clear?
Yeah.
so our server automatically detected it. We're seeing our readings in here. We're seeing we're still having some unknown for water temperature. I need to figure out how to get this guy to flash next. I think I have a bad cable, but next we'll have the camera, and this comes in the same way. So we have a configuration file for
Dude,
the
you're putting
camera.
a camera in this?
Yeah, so the
Yes.
120.
I think it's the cameras are so. The data that you pull with a camera, like you might not even recognize. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and the time lapse can give you really insight into some of the things that's more difficult to detect with sensors like color or
Yep.
the emissivity.
Color is significant, and it's funny. We should make sure to pin like the lighting because there is a lot of different lighting in here that could mess with stuff. But see, it'll be really interesting to see like a slight change in green, for instance, could be really significant. Like when you spend enough time around plants, you start just being able to look at them and say they look right, they don't look right, especially if you know a specific species or even a given plant, and it's like these sudden shifts in green, you know what I mean, like that are huge, or even leaf shape, right? You know, so there's so much data that you can get from that. That's so cool.
And a sensor doesn't have to sleep. It's checking every 30 minutes, every
Yeah.
30 seconds, so it will catch it long before you have a chance to peek it. It might be the difference between saving those shrimp and not.
Yeah, or minimally learning from. One of the hardest parts about gardening, like when you know what the mistake you've made, or gardening aquariums, whatever it is, you know, you're like, I screwed up and I learned from it. But like so often you're like, I don't even know. The frustrating part is when you don't know why you made a mistake or what went wrong. And you're like, I've definitely been frustrated a number of times. And something like this, you can start looking at where things changed, you know, start looking at the data, poring over it, and you'll have like a visualization of this is when it shifted, here's the data points, you know, like leading up to it, and until you start seeing something. How much does it cost?
So, if you wanted to go as simple as possible and as easy, low effort, you can buy some of these sensors off the shelf as a kit for maybe 50, 60 bucks, generally going for specialized ones. If you decide to build it yourself, you can go as low as about 15 bucks. So the temperature sensors are like about $5 for $8. The Wi-Fi sensors are about $3 for a chip, and the camera's about $8. So you can pull this together really quick if you have the time and the patience to sort of wire it together.
Are CO2 sensors still kind of expensive?
CO2 sensors are still relatively expensive. I see those go for about 25, 30 bucks a piece.
It's cheaper than they used to be. I remember they used to be like 45.
Absolutely, and if you're throwing it together yourself, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
If you're buying a commercial sensor with the package and the software, that's going to be close to a couple $100 easily.
It's crazy. Some of the agricultural like automation, supply, like stuff that's out there. To me, I'd rather be working with this. I think, you know, cloud connected and whatnot, and it's wildly expensive, and it's neat. I love seeing like, you know, this is awesome.
If there's interest from the audience, we can absolutely publish some of this and the plans and the instructions, so you could buy the pieces and build these at home yourself.
Sick. That'd be awesome. I would. I will. Yeah, this is my home, so I guess we're doing that.
There we go. So let's try sticking some of these in the water and getting them ready. I think we're all ready to start
All right.
collecting some data.
All right, let me get out of the way. Oh yeah, let me turn that light back on. I turned it off just because it was causing so much reflection.
And if there is, I'll make sure to include when we include the instructions for building this, but there are different techniques you can do for waterproofing your equipment after it's been purchased. When you're working with the aquarium sensors, it will be smart to use it's an acrylic or a silicon type paint that you paint over top of any of your electronics, and it creates like an airtight bubble that goes around it and can keep your electronics safe, because it doesn't take long for water and electricity to run into issues. So, but there we go. Now I'm going to hold off on our turbidities. Let's see if we can find a safe place for that to clamp. Thank you. Alrighty, let's see. I probably should be able to balance him right there. So we could clean this up, and maybe at some point we'll bring in some nice printed enclosures for this all to work, or for this all to sit nicely in a box. But for now, that's all we need to do. And then we plug this wire in, and we'll start collecting data. We'll stick this off to the side so it's not intrusive and in the way of any of our great shots, but we can forget about that now. That's all we need to do, and we're now collecting data in. Let's go ahead and leave her there. Now we'll probably want to dull that up and get that a little out of the front maybe. I don't want to disturb anything, but we don't need unsightly wires everywhere. We could, perhaps later we'll run this up the side of the tank so it's not visually unappealing. And we can set up our cameras perhaps right along the
Do
side.
you notice any dead zones, or do you think that there would be any dead zones by putting the sensor in the center of the tank, where maybe it's getting more circulation versus like up against a corner where it's not getting the same reading? So is there like a prime spot in the tank that would be best for it?
What sensor? Because it depends, right? I think there's going to be, it's actually an interesting question. Here, let me grab that mic so you can actually kind of hear me. So the positioning of the sensor was something I was thinking about, right? Like, there's going to be certain things that you're going to have consistency on, or I'd expect would be like, for the most part, temps, right? Maybe it's a little warmer, but there's enough water movement. It'd be interesting to see, though, even the fluctuations. I'd wonder about oxygen. My hunch would be pH would be consistent throughout. Probably TDS, like the concentration of like contamination. So total dissolved solids, basically like pure water would be 0. As that number rises, it's like more solubilized things in the water. So funny enough, you could have like really dusty looking water, and it could actually be pure water because nothing would be dissolved in it. So if you like splash sand around everywhere, you wouldn't be able to see through it. It would just be, you know, stirred up, but the water could be super clean. So like I've had, like, for instance, my discus tanks, like if you have what's considered a black water tank, they'll be like really dark with tons of tannins. But the reality is, like, some of it's just like loose debris, and also it's like they're not very conductive and they're not truly solubilized in the water. But it'd be interesting to see like oxygen. I could see oxygen fluctuating, especially the less water movement there is, like a vernal pond. The interesting thing is, right, like I was digging in the leaf matter, right, and like if you keep going, it's going to go anaerobic, where there's going to be no oxygen eventually. And JT chime in if he knows more about the stuff. But my hunch would be like life would change, and in general, like vernal ponds have less oxygen. Well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think the dissolved oxygen of a vernal pond would be compared to a river?
A lot lower.
I would too, right? The only reason I would maybe not is because they're so shallow. So I'm almost wondering, like, if vernal ponds, like at this, oh, we have a dissolved oxygen meter, and if we do an episode, like we're talking about doing some episodes live from the lab in the woods, you know, but like if we measured it, we could bring the dissolved oxygen meter. I'd be interested to see, like, my hunch would be there'd be a rapid decline in oxygenation. So like at the surface, super oxygenated, and they're like ultimately big flat puddles, not very, vernal ponds are usually not very deep, because otherwise there's just ponds, you know. And so I'm wondering, like, as you go deeper, if it quickly becomes anaerobic, and that could be like almost an important characteristic, because it like supports different forms of life, if that makes sense.
In such a small isolated ecosystem.
Yeah.
They're all safe from any sort of radiation.
Yeah, like as soon as you start digging, you get in a muck, and that's gonna be all anaerobic, and it's just very intertwined and so physically close.
It's also filled by rain,
Oh, sorry.
so I wonder if that.
Much less minerals, you think?
Yeah, so there's not. Well, there's a lot that it like runs into when it hits the ground, but I'm curious if like the rain has a high oxygen concentration going in.
Yeah.
Just had a really cool rotifer, but I lost it.
So what would the pea puffers eat in here? I'm gonna tell you guys something. I've been putting a couple syringes of this into the pea puffer tank and seeing what they'll chase.
I wish we had a polarized lens. So this little guy,
You want to pull up the microscope to the whole screen?
so this guy
That's
has little tiny
cool.
cilia that are spinning really quick, and every once in a while you see stuff moving into him, but he's eating like actively. It's really hard to see with the.
Whoa. Wait, so what are we looking at?
So this
Yeah.
big glob that's kind of wiggling a little bit is some sort of a rotifer, and you can sort of see things getting caught in the current there.
Wow.
So at the front, so towards the bottom of the screen right now,
What's coming towards it?
that is just like a little glob of muck.
Cool.
You see like the current there?
Yeah.
See how it's spinning?
Uh-huh.
That's because he has a bunch of cilia that he's trying to spin water to go towards his mouth part.
Oh, wow. So he's like creating a siphon towards his mouth?
Yeah, so he's stirring things to go.
Dude, these things could easily. Why has no one made this like giant, like Godzilla, like something that just creates tornadoes in its mouth and sucks everything in, but it's the size of a building?
It's a
Like
called
that
a-
game.
It's called a whale.
Yeah, it is called a whale.
You should get one of those in here.
Next on Gardin. A baby whale, kid. A baby whale.
There you go.
Ah,
See how it's like spinning? Stuff is
Sick.
spinning there. You can't see the cilia very well because they're just so fine.
that's insane. So it's creating that rip.
Yep. And
It's
that,
literally
yeah.
creating. Wait, check this out. Ready? Point. Can you show? Because what he's saying is, see this spiral right here? That is literally that organism is creating that siphon, and it's pulling stuff in. So if something gets in that current, it's just going to get ripped and eaten.
Yeah.
Whoa!
So that thing is bell-shaped, kind of, and it has these little things that it's using to spin that up.
Wow, that's amazing.
And then once he gets a mouthful, usually they'll close up and pull in.
I'm so glad I'm watching this show. I've learned so much tonight. For real. Thanks, JT.
Hell yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. No, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Me too.
Like, I wonder how far away it's pulling from, because I just saw something.
Whoa!
like-
It just ate something. Oh, it almost got it. Did you see that? Was that what was happening?
I think so.
I don't know. I
It'll,
don't know what I'm
it'll
talking
like.
about. I shouldn't narrate this.
close.
Like, I might just be misinforming the general public. I'm trying not to. I'll defer. But it's
No,
fascinating.
it's okay to misinform.
Yeah, that's what YouTube's for. I'm just kidding. I'm just
It's-
kidding.
So close.
Oh, That's the best
slurp.
part about putting yourself out there is the community will let you know.
Look at all this stuff coming over. Like,
Wow.
see how much current
Is it
there
causing that current?
I think so.
That was nuts. It was like a rip.
So we got a question. How do you guys know all of the stuff that you know? This is very interesting.
I'm just making it up.
JT told me. 90% of what I know is JT's information. I don't know how he knows everything. It's unbelievable because, yeah, when do you learn this? Do you not sleep?
I just Google things as I see them because I want to know what things are. And I have a microscope that I play with, so that's how I learned the things. Oh, and there's also a class that I took.
The microbes one?
Yeah,
That was good.
that was a good one.
That was good. Online. We should look that up.
Yeah, what's
It was
it
great.
called?
It was a Udemy course, right?
Yeah,
We both took it.
it was on soil.
Microbial analysis of soils.
Yeah, and then I also worked as a vet tech, and I did a lot of fecal analysis to see what parasites animals had.
He also does that service for friends.
Yep, if you got worms in your butt.
He'll find out. I'll tell you. Or tell your friends.
Yeah, I do all
What
the
is?
all
Wait,
the
can we
results
pan out?
get
How far
tweeted
is this
live.
this rip current? Like, look at it. If we get a little more, I want to see if. Whoa. Although that's a 6 shot, maybe we don't mess with that. That does. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That's my problem. I'll tinker until I break it. But I guess I want to find that out. All right, so what do you think these will continue to exist in here?
Yeah.
Will we see them? Will the density of them, like, I mean, I'm blown away by how much life there is. I need to add more leaf matter to my fish tanks. I just remembered I used to do that and I stopped doing that about a year ago. I need to get back into that. We love you too, Sean. Sean's the man. I haven't seen Sean in forever. I missed him. I just missed him last time he came by. Thanks, bud.
What's down here?
What is that? So the probes are in, huh?
The probes are in, and actually,
Do we start dumping stuff in?
we're collecting as we go.
So this light wasn't on here before. I might pull this light back and try to get to the light that was on before. That light intensity would change things probably.
It's got a nice view though.
Yeah, or just let it ride. Cool. So now with this system, are you gonna be able to monitor? This is pushing data to, where's the server? Like what's, where?
So right now the server's running on my laptop because I didn't get a chance to run to the store and grab a Raspberry Pi, but you can get this, build your
I
own
might
server.
have one.
If you have one, we can run it. If you have a computer that's running, I'm running it on my laptop.
We can run it, I have a, we can run it on this, I have a spare little, yeah, for
So
sure.
you can
I
put
actually
it
have a
on the
PC, if you'd rather, we have a PC we're not even using at all right now. We could dedicate
If
to it.
it's on, we can
Oh, we should put it on the back of it, and on the desk behind this, on Mandy's desk. Mandy loves PCs actually, she'll like that. Yeah, she'll use it. Sorry,
Were you talking about the guy that was dancing in there, like spinning around? That was another Bob, I think.
so could we, I wonder, could we use the particle, because that's Wi-Fi, the photon.
We absolutely could. This
That's
thing-
why I love that thing.
Absolutely.
And then you can build, it pushes
Oh,
it,
really?
where it's super easy to build like an interface on it.
Like graphical?
Like HTML,
This guy?
CSS. It's like,
all in one, right?
Oh, no, sorry.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, I saw a Scud just shoot by. Here. I haven't put anyone in here yet.
We can run that. We should just run particle off and all up.
Yeah, you want to mess with that tonight? Cool.
Absolutely.
I haven't fired it up in a long time. I've definitely lost hours of my life to that. Just trying to check it out. Look at the Scud down here. See? Oh, he's gone. They kind of look like shrimp.
So all these things that are alive in the microscope and in the like macro shot, they're seasonal, so they need to be able to dry out completely and go into like a stasis each season, well, each year, over the winter and into the spring. And then over summer into winter, they dry up and they're hibernating or just eggs. Oh, I have a mic.
I have a mic.
Sorry, we're like in the zone. Look at this guy
zone.
dancing on the
in the
screen.
zone too. To feel it.
And throw on some music. I'm just wiring up this board right over here. So I found this piece, and this is for converting the signal and amplifying it. So hopefully if we stick this amplifier in here, we'll be able to get a better read on our signals. So I just have to make sure this guy gets wired up correctly because I'm using the wrong color wires. Black is power. Black is going to brown. And so we're going to want to stick that guy with our red wires over here. And this is great for prototyping. Soldering is great when you have your idea, it's all planned and tested, but until then, different things like breadboards or these clips are great to get started in playing with these sensors. So
Kill guys.
Hmm.
Just get the G.
Heck yeah.
Wherever you are, we love you, we're proud of you. Out there on the music playing. Yeah, I'm playing music.
Good job, director. Oh, you've been on the whole time, dude. We're capturing. That looks great.
Is it a mosquito? Me?
How many tanks do you have? I don't know. What counts for a tank? Like a fish? You know, sometimes I'm like, is this a new tank now? Like, I was like, we're not gonna take all, we should probably leave this tank like someone said.
How many physical tanks do we have?
At least 20. I don't know. Let's see, here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with, well, what about the reservoir with plecos, 120, that's 7. There's probably fish in certain tanks that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, 10, wait.
I count 10 sort of, but I might
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out, like, I guess without 10, like, is this one now?
I wouldn't count that.
Yeah. What about when tadpoles start going off in it? Could that happen, JT? Could there be like frog eggs and stuff in here?
You'd see them.
So there's no tadpoles in here?
No.
Well, what's that? Just kidding. Oh, what is that? Oh my gosh, look at this. That's a good shot. Look at that, boys. Look at that, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Here, dude, take over, man.
No.
This is, you're so good at this.
Just so they can't see it, but you can do like, so it's like if you can zoom in, you can get that, but we don't have this on our like stream.
Yes.
We got another comment here, guys. You guys are mad. I only have 1 tank right now, but I'm thinking of getting another. Too many cool fish. Not good for my water.
Yeah, for real. It's always tempting to just add
JT, what
another.
is this thing? What is this guy right here? Is this, is that the damselfly again?
Chris, I got one for you.
I think so, yeah.
Sean, would Bluebird EC meter be any use for a tank? Bluebirds are great. So what do you want to measure the pH for your tank?
It gives you an idea of how many like salts are dissolved in there.
Oh, I put the mic right there, by the way.
Ammonia level. Yeah. Nitrate, nitrite.
So JT says it'd be good for monitoring the nitrite and nitrite levels in your tank.
You wouldn't know exactly what it was, but you know when it's higher than it should be, you know?
You can watch it for a change, right?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. What is that again? That's a worm?
It's a maidenfly larva, I believe.
Maidenfly larva.
What is a bluebird meter? Hey, Matt, you want to make a sales pitch? Here at Gardin, it's your very own bluebird.
He's 3 hours behind. How long do you think it would take him to travel? Or 3 a.m.
Matt is.
He's 30
Matt's
seconds
missing
behind.
right now.
No, dude, I'm watching on the big TV.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
It looks sick.
Yeah, I'm doing a good job. Thank you.
Check this out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not familiar with bluebird in particular, but I believe the question was, it was a TDS sensor, an EC sensor. So EC is for measuring basically the dissolved solids. It's the same sensor we have up over here that we wired up today, but a lot easier to get running up on your own. You don't have to do your wires yourself. I do, huh?
Oh, yeah, that sounds great.
In a good way or a bad way?
It depends how much you want me in a hole.
Or.
I think we should switch it's kind of bring everybody around and just talk about that. Do a wrap. Are we good to put stuff in?
We're just playing, yeah.
Oh, let's do it then. Let's put it in. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, sensors are on.
Yeah, they're
Do we
on.
have a screenshot? Like, we should make sure to get this. Is there any way to get like video of what the current parameters are?
Yes, we are not reading temperature yet. I'm still working on that guy.
Here, do you want to show what the current parameters are?
Oh, I can. Do you have a? Whoa, this guy. Absolutely we can. I just need to borrow this guy.
Cool. Let's tell people what we're up to. Or do you want to switch to music too? This one is working again, maybe?
I've almost got the camera up and running.
Hello. All right. So right now we're just doing the finishing touches.
Nope.
Nothing? No good? All right, just shut it down and mute this. Do you want to put some music on background? Because I think that kind of, like if you, when we were watching the other room, it kind of sounds like that should be the next. Where are the mics?
I got one clicked here.
Let's get
So we have our camera set up now too.
All right, so we are getting a couple things done. Should we put or do we have a reading?
So we do have a reading. I just got your camera's wired up, so we're all right here for a live feed.
Okay. So we got the cameras.
We are bringing on our sensor. So we're still not getting our temperature, but I can try swapping out that sensor with a few spares I brought.
One of the cool things about a video monitor is we can put a temperature probe in front of it. As an idea, you know?
That's one way to get around it.
But I can take a quick reading, but if we can get a reading on all the parameters, just to show people where we're at right now. Yeah, do you want to give a show, even if we show the screen of it?
Yeah, come on over.
And then we can, because then we can wrap up for the night. We'll put the last step. JT, you want to help us get some of that ready to put in?
Yes.
And then after we can do some music, we'll We'll take a 5-minute break and then put up a, we've been doing leaving a live stream of some of this stuff with some music going. So if you want to chime back in shortly after we end in about 5-10 minutes for tonight, and do a little garden beats in the evening. We'll get some cool macro shots going and the microscope going with some cool royalty-free music.
Excellent. So we're looking for why it's going in and out, but we can see right over here we're getting our readings. If we, here's our charts. We're coming in at 0.08 volts here, looking to get that stable. We have the camera also coming in here.
Sorry, guys.
So we can see you. And so our cameras are, we're going to get these cameras trained in here on the system right now. And we have some data start feeding in. So if we are, yeah, see, we're still offline. So let's see what's going on over here, why we're not plugged in. I'm going to switch out my power. And let's, whoop, that's not good, but that's why we waterproof things. Let's restart it and see where it goes. And we are rebooting now. So we're just, as always, plug things, unplug them, plug them back in until they work. We're in a live environment with a lot of water. We're going to hope that we didn't get any on it before we had a chance to waterproof this. But I think we're good. We're just getting some intermittent readings right now. It goes in and out. Let's see. Oh, so we're getting our TDS coming through right now. So this is 0.31 voltage. So in order to get our, so that's the raw voltage. In order to get our ppms, we have to add in the temperature. So right now we can see our temperature is sitting unknown right now. And we're trying to troubleshoot why that guy is. Do we have a short? I don't believe so. Are our wires crossed? Do we have our wire on the wrong one? 3432. $34 is TDS. And 32. Ooh, we are getting very hot. I think we have a short somewhere. I'm gonna unplug this for a second. Yes, that's what that is. So, we talked a little bit earlier about voltages. It's important to match your voltage. And when you're plugging things in and test it, feel around. If it feels incredibly hot to your touch, unplug things and let it cool down a little bit. You probably have something miswired. Let's give that a moment to stop boiling the water and let that come back up, and we'll see what happens. Hot, hot, hot. Let's get some logs out of there and see if we can find him on the network when he comes up. Might let the little blue smoke out of this one. I stopped flashing. Looks like we should be coming up soon. So what we're looking at here are all the different sensors that I have up in my personal automated grow room. And we can pick each one of them, look at the configuration, or take a peek on them, see what they're doing right now, which is where we are now. Hopefully this guy does come back up. It's very, very hot. 1, 2, 3, skip 1, 2, skip 1, only 1 yellow. It's this guy. Yeah, no, this guy. Oh, whoa, hot. How are we doing on the macro lens?
Well, the tank is almost drained.
Nice. We might have just burnt something up here. That's the nice thing about cheap chips. It's quite okay if they burn up. Let's see if we can find out what's going on. Let's leave you out for a bit. You feel this?
Ooh, that's toasty.
Very toasty. So we'll want to cool these off. They can get to be about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to keep them under 96 degrees Celsius, whatever that converts over to. Let's let him cool down and try again. While we're waiting on that, let's, how about we check in on JT?
So JT, you want to explain the 2 buckets?
Yeah, I got 2 pitchers of water. We're going to dump in the aquarium whenever we get the things ready. Oh yeah, did we want to adjust the pH?
Question for Matt. Matt, won't that matter?
Oh yeah. We're going to dump this whole thing.
Possibly an idea of like kind of meeting in the middle would be, this is probably really ultimately acidic. Maybe just adding this all in. Oh yeah. Might be like a compromise. I'm willing to bet. It'll be interesting to see if adding this, how much it impacts the over.
Yeah.
My hunch is this much mass. I think it might kind of minimally it'll give like a little micro ecology ability to put it all in one spot.
Yeah.
Not the whole, yeah, the whole thing.
Are we ready to?
Yeah, I think so. Start moving it.
I guess.
Or I kind of like having this separate tank going. What are you up to, JT?
I'm just playing with the water.
Okay. Hey.
Let's dump it.
Do it.
Oh, no, I was just thinking,
I've seen JT get lost for hours on that stuff. Why don't you just let it ride live stream?
yeah, do you wanna live stream on this? Or do you wanna live stream in there as it's adjusting to the tank?
Then we can always get more pond water.
We can always get more pond water, let's go.
I know we might be pond water hoarding right now, but it also could be interesting. Here's the thing, right? Like to leave this as is.
Hey, look.
Did that just come out of there?
He's been in here the whole time? What have you been doing?
He just hatched
forced him out of his cubicle.
Cool. So many mosquitoes in here now?
No, I think that's a what do you call it? Fly, like bloodworms or
Okay.
berry shrimp.
So why don't we take a good amount? How does that sound? I'm gonna fill this up with some leaf matter. Let's start moving over.
There's a really big like growth in.
Cool. Yeah, let's take some of this deep, real in there, sediment. Make sure you get the bottom and all layers. And then, how's that? And then we'll leave the rest. This is definitely a little bit murkier. So you want to do this? Should we dump it in?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yes. Moment. Let there be lots of life.
Oh, is there too much water in there?
Yeah, that's not a bad observation. You want to take a little out first? So is this the night we die of electrocution, JT?
Maybe.
Low voltage, you are very safe.
Never
I one time asked JT, what's going to kill us? He said electricity.
I think that was the same day that I felt electricity after I put my hand in the fish tank.
Was that why that comment was made?
Yeah.
Okay, I never knew.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like some really eerie, confident prediction. I was like, that's scary, that could be true.
Oh no, it was a tilapia, and I put my hand in. I was like, huh, this feels like electricity. And then I realized it stopped when I took my arm off of the metal shelf that was next to it. And then I unplugged the grounding.
Someone over there is muted on the device. JT's
Oh, look at the Scud. Check it out. See, look at that. That it's cool. I used to have so many Scuds and I don't anymore. But let's
Oh, you
see.
want some?
Should we do this?
Ready to go?
Let's do it. Oh boy. Oh, goodness. Move it.
Is it recording now? The pH and stuff?
Yeah, the
Or the
TDS? Yeah, or EC. The
Cool.
We do have this meter that's.
the temperature is giving me a hard time,
7.25.
but we're reading EC out of it. I think I put water on the
250.
board.
Actually, yeah, here, quickly get this on video, just because this is
I
the
got
other
some
meter
acrylic,
I've
but-
been running for a while. It needs to be calibrated, so it's again like changing is what matters. So let's just do that. So 7.25 pH is what it's reading into 245 for 2 grams, which I believe is like EC times 500 or 700.
Ready to dump more in?
Yes.
So did your sensor brick, did that come with the tank?
What?
The controller that you were looking at over there?
No, we used to sell those. They're cool. Continuous monitors.
Smart.
Yeah.
We had a few questions about that earlier.
Yeah.
The different types of measurements you'd do for a fish tank and where the TDS would
People
play in.
don't use those. It's funny enough. Actually, let me see this. That is marketed to hydroponics people, and I don't see aquarium people using it. It's like, to me, more important in an aquarium. I monitor it, especially like my discus, which are really sensitive to changes, and like just make sure I really keep my eye on it every day. And like when you manually measure something, you tend not to do it every single day. But if you have a continuous meter, you walk by it 10 times a day. You're always looking at it. You memorize the numbers, and you just really, you're like, whoa, that shifted. You know?
From what I was reading, it seemed really important for reef fish.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it looked like it was important for reef fish. Is that common, like saltwater versus freshwater? Do you know?
I like that. The saltwater folks tend to put a ton. I'm not a saltwater guy because you can't use it with plants, and honestly, like a lot of saltwater's like wild caught. So I personally don't believe in doing that. I only purchase captive bred animals. If something's not going to reproduce in captivity, I don't think it should be kept. It's kind of a base standard for living in my mind. So, but yeah, I think the reef folks like probably are they're crazy advanced. It's funny, like there's a lot, even plant growers, like some of the lights for aquariums. Like I wish there were plant lights that were as cool. So, yeah. Try not to be too opinionated, but that is something I do believe in with like wild caught pets. Like I don't think.
Well, you have a good platform right now to talk about it, right? It's important.
That just means you don't know how to do it right.
Yeah, like if you can't keep an animal in captivity well enough for it to reproduce, like if it's not happy enough to reproduce, that's.
Look at that beautiful fly.
That looks great. I actually wish I'd done this a long time ago. I feel like the tank. I'm gonna go add more of this stuff to other tanks.
That little guy dancing around.
That's
that's
sick.
That is a sick, like.
Yes. Can you make that the entire screen somehow? That's amazing.
We need a screenshot of that to use as like.
That should be a T-shirt. We need T-shirts.
Like on your website as your.
Yeah. Yes.
Or like a end screen for.
Tattoo.
Credits.
Oh, what is that?
Should we wrap this up before we get goofy and we can do this all night?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up, friends. All right, you're right. Now,
any updates?
if you want to watch this.
Man. Yeah.
Woo! Guys, it's been so fun, and we're going to continue on. We're going to turn off this, and we're going to put some music on, because you guys have heard us all speak long enough. And we're going to put some cool music on, set up some cool shots, and play some music that we find. I had a blast, and next week we are going to be following up on this. Let's see how things have changed, and thank you guys. Everyone, Chris, thank you so much for setting all this up. Andrew, being the bassist of the group, always. The king. Patrick, if you're wondering why the shots look so great, and if you're wondering why people are responding to you, it's Jeff who's holding the cameras right now, and JT is obviously the genius behind it, and I just bugged these guys all to show up, which is awesome, and was like, hey, you guys want to hang out on Fridays and do this? And they all showed up, and it was great. Tonight I just got to hang out and be a nerd, which was really fun. So until next week, episode 21, thank you everyone, and yeah, good night.
Any updates?
Any updates?
Where can they find you? Anything coming up?
What's that?
Where can they find you? What are we doing next week?
Next week, we're going to be doing a follow-up. So we're going to really dive in to what's going. Subscribe and
smash the like button.
Smash the like button. Yeah. So like and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding. Like if you want to.
If you do like.
You know, if you do like it, and if you want to subscribe.
Oh, how's the worm thing that we set up?
It's amazing. Do we want to do that, or do we want to? I mean, do you want to do a follow-up, guys, or do we want? All right, cool. All right, well, first of all, let's look at the bloodworm culture. Let's see how that's doing.
Did you buy more?
No, why? What do you mean? Whoa! They're crawling out the sides because I turned the air off.
Dios mío.
I did buy more.
Whoa.
He knew. He's so smart. All right, they want air, I think.
They definitely want air.
So these guys have been amazing. So I've had them in here, and I set up more. I bought a ½ pound, which I put probably a half of that in different tanks. You might notice the pea puffers look absolutely morbidly obese. I probably should lay off. I've been doing an Italian grandma thing with them. It's nuts. So right now they're not doing it, but when the air was flowing, I would come in with like a syringe to suck some up, and they like that, all of them just suck right into the sand. It's so cool.
Oh, we were looking at that earlier. When you shine a light on it, that all just go.
Let's see if it'll work. Ready? Can we get this? Oh, ready? Oh, they're pissed because there was no air, so they're kind of hanging out toward the surface. Good to know. If you want to catch them, you just gotta. Oh, but see how quick they're disappearing.
These are so cool.
Dude, there's such. I've been just trying to get all the tanks going with them. See them, they're disappearing as we watch. You can't really hear it. Pull this a little back. You can't even see them. They're gone.
Pull the air out.
Yeah.
But yeah, having them in all the tanks, you're gonna have like, they're gonna
It's me with the
be
light,
everywhere.
not you. Yeah.
That way you can have little populations in case one of them dies off, you know?
Yeah. Or you just go to your local vernal pond. So, oh, sorry, bud. You okay?
That's where his brain is.
So anyways, those guys have been feeding the pea puffers. Let's go check those guys out. Here, I'm gonna turn this off.
Wow, yeah, they're chunky. It looks like they're inflated, but they're actually just obese. Because they have unlimited food. Look how clear it is.
Yes. They're very chubby. And they really are excited to see people because now they associate with bloodworms, which, let me see. Ready? Should we give them some bloodworms?
Oh, just a little.
All right. Just a little. Not too much, though. Oop, excuse me. Here, we gotta.
That's so much. Look at them.
There. Mamma mia.
That's a gross spaghetti.
That's a spicy blackworm. That doesn't make sense. All right, I'm going to try to find better light for those guys.
Oh, how's the mealworms? How did everyone's plants turn out? Yeah, might have been loving the rain.
My chickens have been messing with my plants.
Do you want to sit in the lounge for the close?
Yeah. We don't have. Yeah, or we can. Oh, let's check out the worms. Ready? Check this out. You asked.
Yeah, because we haven't checked in on them.
Look at all these flies. So I was doing this thing where I was vacuuming the flies with the fishnet inside, and then I'd pinch it off and have like a ton of flies.
Yeah.
And I would feed them to the fish. They weren't eating them though. Yet.
Wow. That's a lot.
Just like Mom used to make. Fresh tea.
Did you fill it with water like recently?
Yeah, today.
Okay.
Earlier today for
Okay.
that purpose. We should drain it. Let's see. Who needs this? You know?
Oh, this guy does.
Does he?
It's like,
All right. He wants a little bit. This is pretty hot, so I'm not going to give it too much. And that being said, you know who I'm going to give it to? The figs. Check this out. The fig tree. Let's see. Is anyone ready? Oh, yeah. Does anyone else want to eat this?
chomp it. Do an ASMR.
Oh, it's so good. This guy has been producing like crazy. I thought I killed this tree. See any more there already?
There's
in,
one
like, one-
behind you, I think, on that branch.
Ooh, yeah. Someone else needs to eat this one. JT? It might be a little early, but hopefully it's good. Oh, here's another. Jeff. You got to eat it, bud. Here.
Eat it loud on camera.
I'm good.
Yeah?
People love that.
Come on.
Chew with your mouth open.
All right, one of
into
these
the
guys
camera.
has to eat it then. Who wants to eat a fig, fresh picked? Andrew, camera guy.
Oh yeah, because I'm not working. What's up? Delicious.
Right? Right? So, anything else, guys? Anything else we should be following up on? I think that's a lot. It is almost 11, so
We're gonna go for a bit. Yeah,
let's wrap it up, JT.
Are the worms alive though?
Can we like end it with like a freeze frame of us high-fiving and jumping at the same time? I can only jump about 3 inches off the ground, but
Oh wait,
yeah.
you still have to eat the worm.
No, we never got to 15. High five, yay! Did you get that? Wait, let's just pretend it's the freeze frame and then say goodnight. Ready? On the count of 3, ready? Yeah.